Your baby will not steal my daughter's spotlight. You locked a woman in labor inside a bathroom, but you forgot the security camera was recording everything.
My water broke in the middle of my sister-in-law's wedding, and instead of calling an ambulance, my mother-in-law locked me inside a bathroom. Then she leaned close to the door and whispered, "That baby will not steal my daughter's spotlight." What she did not know was that someone had recorded every word. And before the night was over, the wedding she had spent 2 years planning would become evidence in a criminal investigation. Hello. My name is Claire Bennett. I was 32 years old when this happened, and I was 37 weeks pregnant with my first child. My husband Daniel and I had been married for 4 years. Our baby was a girl, and we had already chosen her name Lily. Daniel was kind, hardworking, and usually protective of me. But when it came to his mother Evelyn, he had one weakness. He had spent his whole life trying to keep her happy. Evelyn had raised Daniel and his younger sister, Vanessa, after their father left. She reminded them of that sacrifice whenever they disagreed with her. Vanessa was the center of Evelyn's world. Her wedding was not simply a family celebration. To Evelyn, it was a royal event. It took place at Bella Rose Estate, a private vineyard in Northern California. The property had rows of grapevines rolling over the hills, a stone mansion, marble terraces, and a reception hall with crystal lights hanging from wooden beams. There were almost 300 guests. Vanessa's dress had been flown in from Paris. The flowers alone cost more than Daniel and I had spent on our entire wedding. And Evelyn wanted every second to be perfect. 3 weeks before the ceremony, I told her I might not be able to attend. My doctor says Lily could come early, I explained. The vineyard is nearly an hour from the nearest hospital. Evelyn stared at me as if I had insulted her. You are not due for another 3 weeks. Babies do not always follow a calendar. Her smile tightened. Vanessa has dreamed about this day since she was a child. The family photographs will look strange without you. I said I would speak to my doctor. That should have been the end of it. But the next morning, Vanessa called Daniel in tears. She said I was trying to make her wedding about my pregnancy. By lunch, Evelyn had called him too. Daniel came home looking exhausted. We do not have to stay for the whole reception, he said. We can attend the ceremony, take the family photographs, and leave early. I wanted to say no. Instead, I looked at my husband and saw the boy who had spent his childhood preventing fights between his mother and sister. All right, I said. But we take our own car, we keep my hospital bag in the trunk, and if I feel anything unusual, we leave immediately. Daniel agreed. The morning of the wedding, I woke with a dull pain in my lower back. It was not severe. It came and went. I called the maternity unit, and a nurse told me to rest, drink water, and monitor the timing. I told Daniel. He immediately offered to stay home. But by then, Evelyn had sent 12 messages. Vanessa had sent 6. One of them said, "Please do not ruin this for me at the last minute." I should have listened to my body. That is the truth I carried for a long time. But I also know this now, trusting family should never be treated as a mistake. We arrived at Bella Rose Estate shortly after 2 in the afternoon. The ceremony would begin at 4. The vineyard looked beautiful, but something felt wrong from the moment we stepped out of the car. Evelyn hurried toward us in a silver dress. She did not ask how I was feeling. She looked down at my stomach, then at the pale blue dress I was wearing. "You look very pregnant," she said. I almost laughed. "I am very pregnant. Just try not to hold your stomach in the photographs. It draws attention." Daniel heard her. "Mom, stop." She waved one hand. "I am only thinking about balance." A wedding assistant named Maya came over and offered me a chair and a bottle of water. She looked about 25, with dark hair pulled into a neat knot and a small headset over one ear. "If you need anything, tell me," she said quietly. There was real concern in her voice. I thanked her. Evelyn stepped between us. "Claire is fine. She just enjoys making people worry." Maya's expression changed, but she said nothing. The first family photographs lasted 40 minutes. By the end, the pain in my back had moved around to the front of my stomach. I told Daniel I needed to sit down. He led me toward the mansion, but Evelyn stopped him. "The photographer needs the immediate family near the fountain. Claire is having pain. Then she can rest inside. You are the bride's brother." Daniel hesitated. That hesitation lasted only a few seconds, but I remember it clearly. "Go," I told him. "I will sit in the lobby. Come back in 10 minutes. He kissed my forehead. 10 minutes. I walked into the mansion alone. The lobby was cool and quiet. I lowered myself onto a velvet chair and checked the time. The pain returned 7 minutes later. Then again after 6. I texted Daniel, "The pains are getting closer. We need to leave." The message showed as delivered, but he did not answer. I called him. It went directly to voicemail. Then Maya appeared. Are you all right? I think I am in labor. Her face became serious. Before she could lift her radio, Evelyn entered the lobby. Absolutely not. Amaya looked confused. She may be in labor. She is having practice contractions. She has done this before. That was a lie. I had never gone into labor before. I had never even visited a hospital for false contractions. Evelyn, I Sarah's Daniel? Taking photographs. His phone is with me so it will not interrupt the ceremony. She opened her silver handbag just enough for me to see his phone inside. That frightened me more than the pain. Give it to me, not now. Another contraction tightened across my stomach. I bent forward and grabbed the arm of the chair. Maya moved toward me. Evelyn caught her wrist. The ceremony begins in 20 minutes. Go do your job. Maya pulled her hand free. My job includes guest safety. For one moment, I thought she would call for help anyway. Then a man in a black suit rushed into the lobby and said the florist needed her at the ceremony site. Maya looked at me, then at Evelyn. I am coming back, she said. Evelyn waited until Maya had left. Then she leaned close. Listen to me. Vanessa will walk down that aisle in 18 minutes. You will not create a scene. I need my husband. You need to calm down. She took my arm and guided me toward a hallway. At first, I believed she was taking me to a private room where I could lie down. Then I saw the bathroom. No, I said. I need to leave? You need privacy. Call Daniel. After the ceremony. The next pain hit so hard that my knees weakened. Evelyn wrapped an arm around me, but there was no kindness in it. She pushed me through the bathroom doorway. I caught myself against the marble counter. Then I felt a sudden warm rush. Water spread across the pale floor beneath my shoes. I stared down half a second. Everything became silent. My water broke. I whispered. Evelyn looked at the floor and went pale. Please, I gasped. Call an ambulance. She looked toward the hallway. Music had started outside. The guests were being seated. Then she pushed me farther into the bathroom and closed the door. This baby will not steal her spotlight, she hissed. You can wait 30 minutes. I reached for the handle. It would not move. There was a key in the lock on the hallway side. Evelyn. Her heels clicked away. I shouted until my throat hurt. The music outside grew louder, drowning out my voice. I searched for my phone. My purse was gone. I remembered setting it beside the chair in the lobby. The bathroom had no windows. There were 3 stalls, a marble counter, and one small vent near the ceiling. I pounded on the door. Help me, please. Another contraction came. This one was less than 4 minutes after the last. I lowered myself onto the floor because I was afraid I would fall. My hands were shaking. I had taken infant care classes. I had read books. I knew labor could last many hours. But I also knew something was wrong. The pressure was too strong. The contractions were coming too quickly. And 2 days earlier, my doctor had warned me that Lily was in a position that could cause complications during delivery. I screamed again. No one answered. Then I heard a soft sound near the door. Claire. It was Maya. I am locked in. She tried the handle. Who locked this? Evelyn. My water broke. Call an ambulance now. I am calling. I heard her speak into her radio. Then she cursed under her breath. The signal is blocked inside these stone walls. I am going outside. Do not leave me. I will be back in less than 2 minutes. Her footsteps ran down the hall. I pressed my forehead against the cool door. Somewhere outside, the ceremony music changed. Vanessa was walking down the aisle while I was locked in a bathroom, begging for help. That was when I noticed a red light above the mirror. A small security camera faced the sink and doorway. The sight disturbed me, but it also gave me hope. If anything happened to Lily or me, there would be proof. Unless Evelyn knew about it. I looked directly at the camera. My name is Claire Bennett, I said, forcing the words through my pain. I am 30, 7 weeks pregnant. My water broke at approximately 4:12. Evelyn Bennett locked me in this bathroom and refused to call an ambulance. I did not know whether the camera recorded sound. But I needed to try. Another contraction hit. I gripped the edge of the counter and screamed. Then someone struck the door from the other side. Once, twice. On the 3rd hit, the lock broke. Maya rushed in with an older man carrying a first aid kit. The ambulance is coming, she said. The man introduced himself as Dr. Samuel Ortiz. He was a guest at the wedding and an emergency physician. He checked my pulse, asked me questions, and then looked at Maya. We cannot wait in here. Her blood pressure is dangerously high. They helped me into the hallway. We had gone only a few feet when Evelyn appeared. What are you doing? Dr. Ortiz did not slow down, taking her to the ambulance. The ceremony has begun. Use the service exit. I will never forget the way he looked at her. This woman and her baby are in medical danger. I understand, but the main terrace is full of guests. Then the guests can move. Then Evelyn stepped in front of us. No one is interrupting my daughter's vows. Maya lifted her phone. I recorded what you said outside the bathroom. Evelyn froze. That was the first crack in her control. But it was not the last. The service corridor was blocked by catering equipment, so the fastest route to the driveway went directly across the ceremony terrace. 280 guests, turned as Dr. Ortiz and Maya, helped me through the back doors. Vanessa stood beneath an arch of white roses. The officiant had stopped speaking. Daniel was in the front row. When he saw me, his face changed. He ran toward us. Claire, your mother locked me in a bathroom. He looked at Evelyn, who had followed us outside. What? She is confused, Evelyn said quickly. She panicked and locked the door herself. Maya raised her phone. That is not what happened. An ambulance siren sounded beyond the vineyard gates. Vanessa marched toward us, lifting the front of her wedding dress. Are you serious? She shouted. You could not wait 10 minutes. The entire terrace went silent. Daniel stared at his sister. My wife is in labor. And I am getting married. Another contraction took my breath away. Dr. Ortiz ordered everyone to move. The paramedics arrived with a stretcher. As they placed me on it, I heard Vanessa sobbing. Not because I was in danger, but because guests were filming. Daniel climbed into the ambulance beside me. For the first 15 minutes, he held my hand and said nothing. Then he whispered, I am sorry. I wanted to tell him everything would be fine. But I could not. My blood pressure continued to rise. At the hospital, the obstetrician told us Lily's heart rate was dropping. They needed to perform an emergency cesarean section. The room filled with nurses. Daniel changed into surgical clothes. As they wheeled me toward the operating room, he bent close. I should never have left you. Then do not leave me now. He stayed. Lily was born at 5:43 that evening. For several terrible seconds, I did not hear her cry. Then a thin, angry sound filled the operating room. It was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. She weighed 6 pounds and 1 ounce. She needed help breathing and was taken to the neonatal intensive care unit. I could not hold her that night. While I recovered, Daniel sat beside Lily's incubator. His mother called him 31 times. He did not answer once. The next morning, a police officer came to my hospital room. Maya had reported the incident. Dr. Ortiz had given a statement. Several guests had provided videos. But Evelyn was telling everyone that I had invented the story because I was jealous of Vanessa. The officer asked whether I wanted to make a formal complaint. I looked at my daughter behind the glass wall of the nursery. Yes. That answer changed everything. For years, the Bennett family had survived by pretending Evelyn's cruelty was merely strong personality. I was done pretending. The vineyard's manager, a woman named Rosa Delgado, contacted us later that day. She said the bathroom camera did not record inside the stalls, but it captured the entrance and sink area. It also recorded sound. The footage showed Evelyn pushing me inside. It recorded me asking for an ambulance. It recorded her saying the baby would not steal Vanessa's spotlight. And it showed her locking the door. There was more. The lobby camera showed Evelyn taking my purse after I entered the bathroom. Another camera showed her handing Daniel's phone to a security guard and instructing him not to return it until after the vows. The evidence was clear. Daniel watched the footage once. When it ended, he walked into the hospital bathroom and became sick. Then he called his mother. He put the call on speaker. Daniel, Evelyn said immediately. Thank goodness. Vanessa's reception was destroyed. Guests are posting videos everywhere. Daniel's voice was quiet. My daughter is in intensive care. And I am sorry about that, but Claire has turned an accident into a family scandal. I saw the security footage. Silence. Then Evelyn changed her voice. You do not understand what every word. I was trying to keep her calm. You locked her inside. Only briefly. You took her phone. She would have caused panic. She needed medical help. Evelyn began to cry. It was a familiar weapon. Daniel had surrendered to those tears his entire life. This time he did not. You are not coming near my wife or my child, he said. Daniel, I am your mother. And Claire is my family. Lily is my family. You could have killed them. He ended the call. His hands shook for several minutes afterward. Lily stayed in intensive care for 5 days. Each day brought a new revelation. First, the wedding venue sent us a copy of Evelyn's planning instructions. One note said, if Claire creates a pregnancy disturbance, escort her away from the guest area. Do not interrupt the ceremony under any circumstances. She had planned for the possibility weeks in advance. Second, Maya sent us the recording from her phone. It included Evelyn saying, if the ambulance enters through the main gate, every camera will turn away from Vanessa. Third, Daniel discovered that his mother had lied to the family about my condition. She had told them my doctor approved the trip, and that I had a history of pretending to be ill for attention. I had no such history. She had built her defense before the crime even happened. The mystery was no longer whether Evelyn had panicked in one terrible moment. She had prepared. But why? The answer came from someone I did not expect. Vanessa's new husband, Ryan, visited the hospital alone. He looked exhausted. "I need to tell you something," he said. He explained that Vanessa and Evelyn had been obsessed with selling exclusive photographs of the wedding to a luxury lifestyle magazine. The magazine had agreed to consider a feature if the event appeared flawless and Vanessa remained the clear focus. 3 days before the wedding, Vanessa overheard Evelyn discussing what to do if I went into labor. Vanessa did not tell her mother to stop. She said, "Just keep her out of sight until after the vows." Ryan had heard it. "Why did you not warn us?" Daniel asked. Ryan lowered his eyes. "I thought they were exaggerating, and I was afraid Vanessa would cancel the wedding." Daniel stood so quickly that his chair fell backward. "My daughter could have died because you were afraid of losing a wedding." Ryan did not defend himself. He handed us a copy of a voice message Vanessa had sent to her mother that morning. In it, Vanessa said, "If Claire starts anything, take her inside. I do not care what excuse you use. This is my day." The betrayal was larger than one woman. It was a plan. The police added the new evidence to the case. Evelyn was arrested 2 days later on charges that included false imprisonment and reckless endangerment. The exact charges changed as prosecutors reviewed the medical reports. Vanessa was not arrested immediately, but she was questioned as part of the investigation. Her marriage lasted 9 days. Ryan filed for an annulment after learning that Vanessa had deleted messages and asked him to lie to investigators. But the legal case was only one part of the justice that followed. Vanessa's wedding photographs did appear online, just not in the magazine she wanted. Guests had recorded her shouting, "And I am getting married," while paramedics carried me away. The video spread across social media. The luxury magazine canceled its planned feature. The designer who had provided Vanessa's dress withdrew permission for her photographs to be used in advertising, and Bellerose Estate banned both Vanessa and Evelyn from the property. I did not celebrate any of that. At the time, I was too tired, too angry, and too focused on Lily. But Evelyn refused to stop. Through her attorney, she offered me money to withdraw my complaint. The first offer was $25,000. Then $50,000. Then $100,000. Every offer included a confidentiality agreement. I rejected them all. When that failed, she sued us for defamation. She claimed we had destroyed her reputation by releasing a private family disagreement. That lawsuit gave my attorney something Evelyn had not expected: the legal right to request her messages, emails, and wedding planning records. The investigation uncovered payments she had made using a family trust established by Daniel's late grandfather. The trust was meant to pay for Daniel's and Vanessa's children's education. Evelyn had used more than $200,000 from it to fund the wedding. Some of that money belonged to Daniel's future children. It belonged to Lily. When Daniel confronted her through their attorneys, Evelyn blamed Vanessa. Vanessa blamed Evelyn. Their perfect partnership collapsed the moment each woman faced consequences. The civil judge dismissed Evelyn's defamation claim. The judge also ordered her to pay our legal costs after finding that the security footage supported our account. Then the trust filed a separate action. Evelyn was removed as trustee and ordered to repay the money. She had to sell the vacation home where she had hosted family holidays for 18 years. Vanessa sold her jewelry and returned several wedding gifts to cover part of what she owed. People later called that revenge. It was not. Revenge would have been lying about them, humiliating them, or trying to hurt them in secret. I did none of those things. I told the truth. Then I allowed the truth to collect its own debt. The criminal case ended 8 months after Lily's birth. Evelyn accepted a plea agreement. She received probation, community service, mandatory counseling, and a protective order that prohibited her from contacting me or approaching Lily. Some people thought the punishment was too light. At first, I did too. Then the prosecutor reminded me that justice is not only a prison sentence. Evelyn lost control of the family trust. She lost the house she loved. She lost her social standing. Most importantly, she lost access to Daniel and Lily. Not because I demanded that Daniel choose, but because he finally saw what his mother's control had cost. Vanessa sent me a letter almost a year later. She said she had been selfish. She said she had allowed her mother to convince her that attention was the same as love. She asked to meet Lily. I read the letter twice. Then I placed it in a drawer. I did not answer immediately. Forgiveness is not a door another person can demand that you open. It is a decision you make when you feel safe enough to make it. 6 months later, I agreed to meet Vanessa in a public park. She looked different without the perfect makeup, expensive clothes, and certainty. She apologized without making excuses. I listened. Then I told her the truth. I may forgive you one day, but forgiveness will not make you Lily's aunt again. Trust is not restored by one apology. It is rebuilt through years of safe choices. She cried. I did not comfort her, but I did not hate her either. I simply protected my daughter. Daniel spent a year in counseling. He had to face how often he had asked me to tolerate disrespect because challenging his mother felt too difficult. He never blamed me for what happened. He blamed himself for leaving me alone that day. I told him I did not need endless guilt. I needed change, and he changed. He learned that peace built on one person's silence is not peace. He learned that being a good son should never require being a careless husband. Most of all, he learned to speak before damage was done. Lily grew into a healthy, fearless little girl. On her first birthday, we held a small celebration in our backyard. There were 12 guests, homemade food, paper flowers, and a chocolate cake Daniel baked himself. Nothing matched, nothing was expensive, everything was full of love. Maya came with her husband, Dr. Ortiz came too. We gave them each a framed photograph of Lily with a message on the back. Thank you for choosing a life over a spotlight. A near sunset, Daniel carried Lily across the grass. She reached toward me with both hands, laughing. I held her close and remembered the cold marble floor, the locked door, and the terrible silence after I begged for help. For months, I had believed that bathroom was the place where my family broke apart. But I finally understood something. That was where the lie broke apart. The family had been broken long before. It was held together by fear, guilt, and obedience. The locked door did not destroy it, it revealed it. And once the truth was visible, we could build something better. People sometimes ask whether I regret attending the wedding. Yes, I regret ignoring my instincts. I regret believing that keeping the peace was more important than protecting myself. But I do not regret telling the truth afterward. Evelyn believed 30 minutes of silence could preserve a perfect image. Instead, those 30 minutes exposed every secret she had spent years hiding. She wanted my daughter to enter the world unseen, so Vanessa could remain in the spotlight. But Lily's first act in this life was to bring everything into the light. And that is the lesson I will teach her, when she is old enough to understand. Never stay silent to protect someone else's perfect picture. Because the truth may arrive like a child, small and vulnerable. But once it takes its first breath, no locked door in the world can hold it back.